Hello ladies and gents, welcome back for another chess video. This is Soren, your favorite chess teacher, and I was thinking that maybe it's the time for me to submit a video to chess.com in the category of video analysis of your best game in the first round that I have just played. I've just played and I think I managed to come first with 21.5 points. So I thought that, look, I'm going to make a video. It's also in the Trompowsky attack, so I didn't tackle this opening until now, so I'm going to do it in the following minutes. And then I'm going to submit it over to chess.com, and that's it. And I'm going to leave it on my YouTube channel as well. So let's dive into the depths of Trompowsky attack. Okay, so I am playing black here. My opponent, a chess player from Brazil, his username is like Potaveo. I'll just copy paste the raw PGN for you guys to check if you want to. So let's just play and discuss this thing together. So d4, bishop g5. So as you could probably know, there are like couple of ways for you guys to respond to this, and I chosen to play d5 because simply I want to make sure they're not going to play e4 anytime soon. So, and I also love to take in as much space as possible, so for this very reason I chose to play d5, fully aware that they might be just changing and trading my knight, taking it on f6, and that will result in a temporary double pawns on the f column. Not the end of the problem though. I think I like it. I think I like this position, not a problem, as long as you be playing something like c6. I don't think you're going to have any particular weakness here with black. Not a problem. So he played e3 here. Natural move. You want to get that bishop out. Bishop d6. Yeah, well, of course, I could have played the other bishop. I could have played c6. But I've chosen to do bishop d6 because, you know, I'm just imagining that they probably plan on castle on the king side. So I'm very happy to get this bishop as active as possible. c4 now, challenging the pawn. And there is another subtlety here. Probably, they might be playing something like c5. So there is a possibility. And because I don't want to give them too much space, instead of playing c6, which is a very logical, normal move to play here, I've decided actually to take on c4, and that gave my opponent the chance to take the pawn with tempo. Bishop takes on c4. So I have castle now. King is nice and sound and safe. They played knight to f3, of course developing, preparing themselves to castle. Nothing wrong with this. I've decided to pin. Yes, of course, f5, c6, knight bd7, but you know, from a human point of view, from a human's perspective, I really love making pins. They have a psychological effect. They might be making my opponents, you know, maybe dropping the bishop back, you know, maybe they'll be playing knight bd2 rather than knight c3. This kind of ideas just make me to always consider playing a pin if given a chance. Anyway, he castled, and now I've developed knight to c6. I want to get all my pieces in action as quickly as possible. So a3 now, just to preventing, I'm pretty sure he just wanted to prevent any knight or bishop incursion on b4 square. So probably it's more prophylactically being played here. a6, I've played this myself. And knight to c3, he chose to develop the knight, still finding themselves in a pin. And that would result in something very interesting because, you know, if they play knight to d2, knight b1 to d2, he could have moved the queen at any moment without a problem. But now, having played the knight on c3, they always need to worry about this particular pin here with white. Okay, so that's an idea. Now, f5 being played because I simply want to push onto f4. So there's nothing wrong. Up to this moment, I think we played very decently. Normal developing moves. Nothing wrong here. h3. So he probes it. He asks the question to the bishop. He really wants to see, what am I going to do with that bishop? Am I going to keep the pin? Am I going to trade? Obviously, I'm going to keep the pin. I'm always telling my friends and my students, do not trade unless you have a super good reason. And now at this moment, I really want to keep the pin. Plus, they can't pushing g4 because they're going to lose a pawn and they're going to result in a very bad position here, even worse than before. So obviously I was absolutely aware. So maintain the pin, my chess friends, as much as you can. That would be very uncomfortable for your opponents. So now he played, or she, or they played now, rook to c1, rook a to c1, and I've challenged the e3 pawn. Moving forwards, really, there's nothing more aggressive I could have thought of, so I said, look, it's time to pushing the pawn. Now, he played e4, which results in an interesting position here, but that's a bit of a mistake made by my opponent, and I've sanctioned it immediately. So I punish my opponent immediately. Because, guys, if you notice, I'm able to capture now, and now I've got a sufficient reason to do that. Because when I take the knight, they either take with the queen, to which I reply by taking on d4, winning a pawn, attacking the queen with tempo. Awesome stuff, what's not to like about it? Or they choose to take with the pawn on g2, which will result in double pawns on the f column, and this little guy on h3 would be vulnerable for the duration of the game, which is exactly what I did. Every single pawn at some point matters absolutely. So I took on f3, he took on g, and now queen to h4. Very simple. I just try to play efficiently, simply, directly, as aggressively as possible. Very punctually, queen to h4. I'm only aiming at the weakness h3. And perhaps given a chance, I'll try and attack f3 at the same time. Now, he plays the king, obviously, to defend. It's a considerable advantage now, positionally speaking, for black because of the bad pawn structure that I've just given them following that exchange. Now, I put the rook on the d column where the white queen is, just in any case to discourage any possible e5 pawn being pushed, because if it's e5, then you can just simply take, and they can't take it back, because the rook obviously captures the queen. So I think it's incredibly useful when you're having this chance. Bang, put the rook on an open or semi-open file if you have a chance. Now they try to create a couple of threats here. They just try to activate getting their pieces more attacking and more aggressively positioned. But here I've played myself not the best move in this scenario. Well, after the game had happened, I've checked with the almighty Stockfish 15, and they said the best thing here, the first line of thinking is bishop to e5. And, you know, it's a very slightly convoluted thing here after bishop, and if they capture, then knight takes, pressurizing f3, attacking c4, and if, let's say, queen to e2, rook to d6 first, threatening this kind of attacks, rook h1, and c6 attacking the knight, knight retreats, and now knight takes the bishop without the white queen being able to recover because queen takes f2 checkmate. So that's quite a tactical possibility here, and I haven't seen it during the game. I've just decided to play something else. Apologies, I'm sorry about this one. I didn't play bishop e5, which was quite a heck of a move. Probably I would have submitted this at the move, you know, the best move of the first round, but I didn't play it. I'm sorry. I just did something like knight e7, not the greatest move black could have played. You know, I could have even played rook to e8. That made sense too. I just wanted to challenge this guy. I just wanted to play knight to g6, given a chance. That's what I thought. So now they play queen to c2. c6, I'm attacking the knight. So I'm asking my opponent, just tell me what you want to do with that knight. He moved it back. That gives me, again, huge advantage. Huge advantage here, positionally speaking. I'm slightly dropping the queen on h5 because now I'm targeting f3. He plays the queen. Now I do bishop to c7 here, just to sort of, you know, discouraging them to pushing the pawn and wasting a tempo. And also I was thinking during the game, look, if they're going to play this, I'm going to react with knight to g6 and perhaps knight to h4. This kind of things I was considering. But instead they pushed the d pawn. He pushed the d pawn now to d5. I'm playing knight to g6 anyway, because now when they push on d5, boys and girls, you probably see now that the knight here on g6 can very well jump in action right in the middle of the board, attacking f3, attacking c4. It's a very dangerous knight. Not mentioning that my bishop can play at any moment, switch the diagonals, b6 to f2 if there's any necessity for black to do so. Now he plays the rook. I played the knight exactly as I said, knight onto e5, very much attacking now for black. So he gives me a lot of opportunity for attacking. More power now being brought by the rook. Rook over to d6. Rook lift, very good, because that rook is going to come and menacing on the g file. Very difficult for white here. Now, instead of playing the simplest sequence here, like queen takes check, king what to move, and then knight f3, forking and winning the rook, I wanted to take away from the white king any moving squares towards the queen side. I wanted to make sure that the king is trapped, which I sort of succeeded, because I'm also attacking the rook on g1, which needs to move on h1, and now I'm going to play rook over to g6. A very good move, because now the end is near. There is no good move for white here. Not one single good move for my opponent. If they want to prolong the pain, they could do something like queen d1 to just making some space for the king to move, because if they don't, and if they play something like they did play, like pawn takes on c6, it's already too late. Now I played the move, which was considered by the computer brilliancy, what to my taste is just a simple checkmate move here. Obviously, if rook were to capture on h3, a temporary queen sacrifice would have been followed by rook onto g1 and checkmate. So, to which my opponent simply resigned at this stage. So, that was the Trompowsky attack of the first round of Chess.com Daily Championship that I have played, and I finished this game yesterday. If I'm to be incorrect, you can see it in the archive. I'll put the game on the PGN. So that was, guys, Trompowsky attack, a possibility for black to react to this. I hope that's useful, and if it is, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, perhaps follow me on Twitch as well. So, guys, that was today's video. I'll see you in a couple of days with another video analysis from either Super GM's game or something that is meaningful and is useful to you, my chess friends. Thanks very much for watching again. See you soon.